morning, spin enthusiasts. It is a bit rainy today, but that's okay because I have a nice dry vehicle to drive in. And I wanted to answer a question today that I get all the time, constantly. This isn't like a controversial thing or anything, but this is just like something that people ask me, so I want to answer it. And I've answered it before in a million other videos. Well, maybe not a million, but I've answered it before several times. And the question is, how do you write choreography? There's like that, I get that question so often and I answer it so often that it amazes me that somebody hasn't like gone back and been like, oh, well, there's where she answered it before in this other video or whatever. But I realize like I'm on different platforms and stuff like that. So anyway, this is for the IGTV platform. How do you write choreography? You just write it. Honestly, like the way that I go about doing it is I put on the music and I spin to it. And I actually was kind of telling this to some of my students this past weekend at rehearsal on Sunday. I can actually, if I'm watching a team run through their drill or their staging or whatever for the show, I can actually like AR choreography like in my brain over what they're like the drill that they're doing, and I can be like, okay, that pathway doesn't work, or okay, that does work, or whatever. But one of the things is like you have to always be thinking about like the level of the students that you're working with. So a lot of times when I'm doing my like little AR thing, I see like if I want lots of color, or if I want little color, or if I want like level changes or whatever, and what kind of texture I want to give the floor. Like I can see all that stuff, but then I have to think, okay, what level can I write it at so that this team specifically can achieve it and get it clean before the end of the season. So there's that. But my just essential, like how I write choreography in and of itself is just, I like put the music on and I spin to it and I see what I did and I see what I feel and what I like. And that's a big part of color guard, is you really have to understand how it feels to do the choreography that you're doing. That's one of the reasons I always use a flag that's weighted exactly the same way as our show flags in order to write the choreography. But you always want to do the choreography, and so you can feel the choreography and not just the seeing part of it. Like the seeing is a big part of it. You have to see what it looks like. You have to be able to kind of predict where you want the high points to be and so on. But just feeling it is going to be the essential part, because when you feel it, like the kids aren't going to see it, the performers aren't going to see it, but the performers are going to feel it. They're going to feel it. They're going to feel their body going through the movements. They're going to feel their brain wrapping around like what they're doing. They're going to feel their feet going through all the different dance moves and the staging and stuff. So you got to not only see the choreography you want to happen, but you have to feel it. And I think that's the most important part, honestly, of writing choreography, is just writing it, like writing it how you feel it should happen. So that's how I do it. It's kind of a hard process to explain because no one ever really taught me this is how you write choreography. They just wrote choreography, I learned choreography, and then I developed my own style of writing choreography by doing it myself. And, you know, getting feedback from people. And that's the other thing, when you get feedback, don't take it personally if the feedback is negative or critical. When I was really young, I used to take it really personally. It's like, oh, you don't like my choreography? That means you don't like me as a person. And like, that's not at all what it is. Like, you have to separate yourself from your work and realize like, you are a person, you are a human being. Your choreography is the work you've done, but it's not who you are as a person. So you have to separate those two things. And you could also need to know that you can continually improve your work. You can also continually improve as a person, but that's a topic for a totally different video. But you can continue to improve your work and adjust yourself and get better at what you do as long as you're constantly working at it. So there's the answer to your question. It's all of you spin enthusiasts who keep on asking me that. And give me some topics that you want to hear me talk about for tomorrow, because I'm sick of talking about money. That's all there is to it. So bye, see you tomorrow.